Good day, goeiedag, fellow South Africans, from quite a warm Brisbane. Looks like it's going to be a lovely day today. Now, what I'm attaching to this intro is a video taken in the South African Parliament today, the 11th of September 2018, in which Ramaphosa is responding to a couple of questions about the land situation, i.e. the land grabs. And in this discussion he mentions that he has had, his people have had discussions with Secretary of State Pompeo from the United States, as well as other parties representing other governments. And he makes a claim that once these people realize that the history of South Africa is such that 87% of land in South Africa is now in the hands of the whites, that they tend to come around to the South African government's way of thinking. Now, we don't know if that's true or not. He's just making that claim. And he doesn't go into the detail of the discussions. But, of course, you've got to compensate people for land. I mean, that is a no-brainer. And the meeting that AfriForum had with COPE yesterday, I think was very beneficial. And apparently AfriForum have also had a meeting with the Zulu King, which I think is also a very good move. But getting back to the video, I'll play it in a few seconds. But first of all, don't forget this Sunday night at 8 p.m. Johannesburg time, I will be having a live stream, and I'm going to be talking about a very interesting subject. So subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you there. And the subject is about migration options. Okay then, take care. See you Sunday.
Last supplementary. We move on to our last question for you, Mr. President. It is order. No, members. Can I just finish what I'm saying? The next question, the last question, is the question put to the President by the Honorable Makue.
Honorable Chairperson, as indicated in the earlier reply, the Department of International Relations met with the Charge Affairs of the United States regarding the comments made on Twitter, as I've already said, and the Minister was also in communication with her counterpart, Secretary of State, Mr. Michael Pompeo. In this regard, the department also handed an aid memoir to the United States Embassy, which said South Africa is following a consultative process in addressing the issue of land and agrarian reform, and that it will not allow land grabs and anarchy. In the process of finding a solution to the issue, the current process of engagement and consultation with all stakeholders is meant to find solutions that are in the best interest of the country. Government has consistently indicated that this process will be undertaken within the confines of the Constitution. So South Africa has to keep on educating those who are interested in our affairs and explaining things to them. That is our task as a government and as a nation. For those who may not understand, one, our history, who may not understand the processes that we have got to go through, we take the time and the trouble to explain all these things to them. And it is for this reason that we respond as we do to not only the Americans, but to whomsoever has a question about this. And let's face it, what we are going through has evoked quite a lot of interest and questions in the minds of many people around the world, as it did when we were going through our own process of bringing an end to the nightmare of apartheid. We had to keep on engaging with foreign governments, foreign people, to explain to them what we were doing, Some of them took the trouble to travel to our country to want to see exactly what we are doing. So we have to do this. It's part of our job description. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Honorable Makue.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. The President has answered the points 1 and part 3 of the original question. So I would want to concentrate on the part 2. But before I do that, Chair, I just want to say that we note with appreciation the DIRCO discussions with the U.S. Secretary of State, and also the point that our President is making about working through Parliament. The reality of globalization is demanding on us to improve diplomatic cooperation and to enhance our constitutional democracy. My question, therefore, would be, what is South Africa's plans with regards to countries that may be in disagreement with policies of our democratic government and democratic processes? So it's that diplomatic field that we need to traverse. And while we're there, Chairperson, to just say that we also today remember what happened in the New York Towers, the World Trade Center, this day in 2001. The images are still vivid in our minds. Almost 3,000 people were killed, and we want to today also ensure the victims of that particular atrocity that we as South Africans are thinking about them. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. On that historical note, the Honorable the President.
Honorable Chairperson, obviously there may well be people, not only in various other countries in the world, but also in our own country, who may not be in full agreement with what could well be the outcome of the process that we are involved in. And our view is that we need to continue engaging them. We should never stop engaging even those who are our detractors, those who do not agree with us. We should try and find ways of showing them why we have to do what we have to do and what it means for us and our own development, and also healing the wounds of the past. And this is something that we believe as a government we should continue doing. And in this regard, we've informed our ambassadors and high commissioners around the world to continue engaging with various countries on the globe to explain to them precisely what we are going through. The minister did engage with the ambassadors and high commissioners and the various representatives that we have, and explain the clear policy positions that we have and the processes that we are going through, so that they are better able and better armed to be able to propagate our message. So it is a process through which we communicate, and there may well be areas of weakness here and there, but our responsibility is to communicate as consistently and as effectively as we possibly can, so that the message can sink into the minds of those who may not agree with us or be our detractors. And we think we are making progress. We're gaining quite a bit of traction. I have seen it with a number of people who were very aggressively against this whole process. But when they begin to hear the history of land dispossession in this country and how the majority of the population were relegated to 13% of the land by the colonizers and the apartheid rulers of our country, and that they held on to themselves 87% of the land holdings in our country, everybody gets a shock. And they wonder, how could this have been allowed? Why did this happen? How could so many people who constitute more than 90% of the population be relegated into a little patch of 13%? When you explain that, when people begin to realize how important this is, in the lives of the majority of our people, then their eyes are opened, their minds are also better clarified. So that is the process that we are involved in, and we are spreading the message throughout. So even the heartiest opponents have now come to say, yes, it's got to be done. It's got to be addressed. And many people are saying, yes, address it now. Because we are also saying, if we don't address land reform now, it means that we are embracing instability. We are basically saying there must be instability in South Africa. And nobody wants instability. So therefore, it is forcing all of us to then begin the process of addressing this land issue. So we are onto something that was dispossessed from them, that they were deprived of acquiring over the years. They want that asset in their hands so that they can better utilize it to grow our economy and to look after their own households. And in my view, it's a simple and straightforward process, and it should not really bring about headaches to the heads of people. And the wonderful thing, if I may say so, is that a number of solutions are being brought to the fore. Many people are coming up with solutions, wonderful solutions, which we should not reject out of hand, which we should bring on board, because everything that is a good suggestion in terms of dealing with the land question will be good in the end for our people. And we must make sure that it is our people who are going to benefit. And that, for me, is the most important part.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Honorable Kaula.
Yeah, Tawaza Slaloshon Pegile, Honorable President, in the previous question, I was really enjoying the who is who in the zoo atmosphere. Honorable President, the international mentality of juxtaposing Zimbabwe-style land grabs to South African land reform initiatives is something that immediately comes to the fore whenever the question of land in Africa gets debated. So what I would like to know is what is the government doing in clarifying those? Because